Scarlett Johansson recently provided a reason as to why Black Widow can't return in the MCU, and I have to agree with her. Black Widow's MCU arc ostensibly came to a close in Avengers: Endgame, when she became one of the many heart-wrenching casualties of the MCU after sacrificing herself on Vorma so that the Avengers could retrieve the Soul Stone. However, this arc was subsequently fleshed out in 2021's Black Widow, a prequel that took place just after the events of Captain America: Civil War. It was an off-piste move from Marvel, but I certainly enjoyed the way it finally spotlighted such a pivotal character in the history of the MCU. Throughout Black Widow's MCU appearances, she was largely a supporting character whose skills as a world-class assassin were surprisingly well-suited to a team that also counted a god and an invulnerable rage monster in its ranks. Still, despite her long history and indelible mark on the MCU, Johansson has hit the nail on the head with her assessment of a potential return. Scarlett Johansson's 2025 interview raises a really good reason the actor doesn't want to return as Black Widow. Black Widow's story has ended. Scarlett Johansson hasn't been a part of the MCU since Black Widow, whereas most of her fellow Avengers, except for Chris Evans' Steve Rogers, have since starred or are soon to star in another post-Infinity Saga installment. Johansson was asked about this state of affairs in an interview with Vanity Fair, where it was brought up that both Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth were due to star in Avengers: Doomsday. Johansson reflected fondly on her time working with her co-stars, but immediately kicked back against the notion of returning, stating, "From behind-the-scenes snippets and interviews, I can see where Johansson is coming from. Evidently, the allure of working in the MCU hasn't eluded the likes of Hemsworth, but there is still a reason for him to return, as Thor is both alive and well and still engaging in heroics across the galaxy as of Thor: Love and Thunder." Robert Downey Jr.'s MCU return, on the other hand, might suggest that a return for Black Widow isn't beyond the realm of possibility, but I find it hard to see how Marvel could pull this off appropriately. I don't think there's a way the MCU can truly pull off having the original Black Widow return. The original Natasha Romanoff is dead. Black Widow and Hawkeye saying goodbye in Avengers: Endgame. Black Widow's death in the MCU was special. Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame made sure to establish the gravity of the death used to earn the Soul Stone as the kind of death that can't be trivialized by the use of, say, another Infinity Stone or other means. This helped the death to pack a punch, and underlined the importance of Black Widow's character despite her vulnerability to being outshone by her superpowered teammates. Then again, this kind of death has been seen before and was somewhat retconned by a new MacGuffin of the multiverse saga: Death on Vorma didn't stop Gamora, whose Earth 616 variant was sacrificed by Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War, from returning in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Nevertheless, Guardians 3 also made it obvious that the Gamora variant who joined up with the Ravagers was not the same character as the one who fell in love with Peter Quill. I think it's fair to say that, even if Avengers: Doomsday or Avengers: Secret Wars reintroduced Johansson to the MCU as a Black Widow variant, it could never be the original, and only risks undermining Black Widow's overall character arc. The MCU is already exploring the perfect way to keep Black Widow's story alive. Yelena Belova and Alexei Shostakov keep her legacy alive. I much prefer the alternative that the MCU seems to be pursuing with the release of Thunderbolt Star. Black Widow's death is still affecting the current MCU by causing distress to the family she left behind, namely Yelena Belova and Alexei Shostakov. Thunderbolt's asterisk showed that Yelena still struggles with her sister's absence, and proceeded to spotlight her as the new leader of the new Avengers, ostensibly having her succeed her late sister's role in the MCU. This is a far more touching and respectful way to deal with Black Widow's MCU legacy. I wholeheartedly agree with Scarlett Johansson's sentiment that Black Widow's story is complete insofar as she shouldn't return, but would also argue that it lives on in the family she left behind. Now that Yelena has been set up as a central figure in Avengers: Doomsday, I hope that Natasha Romanoff's influence is still felt and therefore kept alive without Marvel feeling the need to resurrect the character as a variant.